Hey everybody, Max here for IGN. I'm a big fan of PlayStation VR and VR in general. I'm an early adopter of the original PlayStation VR headset, so I was sort of thrilled and also dismayed to hear that Sony has made a hardware update to this headset. We've got both versions of them here, and I figured we could just kind of look at some of the differences technologically. These are predominantly the same devices with a few tiny little tweaks, so if you're in the market for a PSVR headset, or if you maybe want to trade in your existing one, the version you want would be this one, because this is the new one. So be careful when you're buying stuff. Let's take a look. So first things first, the existing headsets are, they're mostly the same. It's a little bit tricky to tell them apart. Key differences here, first of all, is on the new version, the headphones are actually built in. They have moved the sort of the headphone jack from this dongle that was in the old one. You used to have to plug earbuds in here and they would repeatedly get pulled out. Now, there is a headphone jack built into the base of the VR headset right there, and there's a pair of built-in headphones that kind of live on there, and there's actually these funny little ear holes on the headset itself that you can hold the earbuds with. In addition to that, because they got rid of the dongle, which has the power button and volume control and mic controls, that now lives in the headset too, just right down here. There's a couple little buttons on this little rocker pad, and then the power button's right down here. Other than that, the headset itself is pretty much the same. The adjustment still has this dial here. There's sort of the button to loosen it, and the resolution, I believe, is just the same. Oh, one quick one here is the little button you push to adjust the headset has moved to the top, as opposed to being on the bottom down here. So that's kind of a really quick way to tell if you're getting the old one or the new one, is where the button is, or if there's a dongle at all. Now the big thing that they really did here is the Breakout Box is entirely different. This is the original one right here. It has this weird kind of wonky feature where you had to run this entire huge heavy cable through it, which would plug in and go through here and then attach through this. And basically you'd be lugging around this long sort of wacky ponytail. The new version, the cord is kind of all one piece. They made the entire cord longer, and it goes into the Breakout Box, which now has an HDR pass-through. It's an updated processor. The PSVR doesn't actually show HDR, but if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro, now you can have HDR going through to your TV, and you don't have to unplug the VR entirely or get like a separate third-party switcher. One thing a lot of people have been talking about is, when is Sony going to update the Move controllers? Because these things have been around since, I believe, 2010. Well, they updated them very, very slightly. Here's the old one right here. As you can see, it's got sort of this glossy see-through move button, and it has the, what is it? It's the mini USB, the kind of old PS3 type USB plug for charging. The new one has USB micro, which is of course the same kind of port you use to charge your PlayStation 4 controllers, and the dedicated sort of move button has gotten kind of smaller, and it feels a little bit clickier. So those are kind of really the huge changes here. The PlayStation VR camera is still pretty much the same one that got rolled out alongside the PSVR last year. These are pretty much around the same price point. It's weird because of the different SKUs. I believe the old one was still sold headset, separate from Move controllers, separate from camera, though you could get a bundle of them all together. The new one is mostly being pushed out kind of as bundles. There are a few dedicated ones. There's one for Skyrim VR and one for Doom VFR. So if you're, shopping around for Black Friday or with, holiday money or whatever, make sure you keep an eye out for kind of the newer version, because it does have a few little tweaks, little changes. I believe the MSRP is still around $300, though you can probably find it on sale. And of course, if you're really just trying to get in on VR, the old model, nothing wrong with it. Still works fine. I love mine. It's a ton of fun. And as always, for all kinds of Sony and VR coverage, keep it right here on IGN Beyond.